Hello, I'm Dr. Crawford. Today I want to talk about how to keep the brain healthy. The brain should get top consideration. To put the rest of the body before the brain is to put the cart before the horse. You are only as healthy as your brain is. So the brain should get top consideration, and everything that you do should be done with the brain in mind. And it's like now the number one complaint of people is fatigue. And everybody's looking, at why they're so tired. Well, fatigue starts in the brain. That's a good example of where we have to start with fixing the problem. So I'm going to spend a few minutes today on some things we can do, some simple things that we can do to keep our brains healthy. And when we do that, it's going to keep the rest of us healthy, and it's going to keep us younger. So the brain, like any other part of the body, needs certain ingredients in order to thrive, and I just want to touch on a couple of them. One of them is it needs good food, whole foods. Good whole foods are very necessary. Some of the best foods for the brain are berries. Blueberries seem to be one of the best, but all the berries are good. Walnuts are excellent food for the brain. Crack open a walnut and see what it looks like. There's a tip-off. It looks like a brain. Alaskan salmon, loaded with good omega-3 fatty acids, but get it from way out. Don't get farmed fish, but wild Alaskan salmon is excellent. Spinach is good brain food, and it seems to also have the capability of helping the brain to detox, which we'll touch base on in a minute. Organic eggs are loaded with good natural fats and choline for the nervous system, and excellent food for the brain. So we don't want to do processed foods. Processed foods are deficient, and deficient foods rob the body of valuable nutrients and also can have an effect on blood sugar. The brain operates off of a steady supply of glucose or sugar and oxygen, and diet can affect both. Eat complex carbohydrates only. The refined carbohydrates, refined sugars have to go. Bad news. Bad news for the body, bad news for the brain. Again, remember that we need that steady supply of glucose for proper brain functioning. When we don't have that, and we won't have it if we're loading the diet with a lot of refined carbohydrates and sugars, we're going to get an erratic supply of glucose, and that also can have an effect on behavior. Sugar is definitely a problem in the United States. The average now is over 150 pounds per person per year. All kinds of sugar. Hidden sugars are a big problem, but get the sugar out of the diet, get the refined carbs out of the diet, complex whole food carbohydrates only. Natural fats, this is a biggie. The brain is 60% fat, so it's imperative that we give it natural fats. The fat in the brain and the body is in direct correlation to the type of fat that you're eating in the diet. Natural fats only, that's a biggie. A lot of people make a complicated issue out of the type of fats that you should be eating. I break it down into this simple way of looking at it. The fat is either natural or it's unnatural. If it's natural, chances are it's fine. If it's not natural, fake fats, hydrogenated, partially hydrogenated fats and oils are not fine. And they are going to have an effect on the cell membranes. Cell membranes are a lipid sandwich. They have a lipid layer on the outside, the inside, cholesterol in the middle. But those lipid layers, again, are going to be in direct correlation to the fats that are being taken in the diet. Increased water. The brain is particularly affected by dehydration, and get this, it only takes 10% of dehydration to have a negative effect on the brain. So make sure you stay adequately hydrated. Limit toxin exposure. This is a biggie. The body, if it cannot eliminate a toxin, it will store it, and if it gets stored in the brain, that sets us up for more inflammation in the brain and possibly some a real bad dementia, something like that. We know that there's a correlation, and another study was just done proving there's a correlation between certain pesticides and Parkinson's disease, for example. So it behooves us to limit our toxic exposure. Things like pesticides, another good reason to go organic. Some of the neurotoxins that are found in foods, particularly the fast foods like the MSGs, bad news. Nobody should be taking that stuff in. Fluoride is not a friend of our bodies or our brains, so non-fluoridated water makes sense. There are some supplements that can be very helpful. I want to mention just a few here. Phosphatidylserine can help brain function, particularly memory. It's also a good supplement to help the cell membranes in the brain. Resveratrol, we hear a lot about resveratrol in the anti-aging literature, but resveratrol, besides being a good anti-inflammatory, resveratrol also seems to oxygenate the brain, which is very important. Resveratrol is what has given red wine its good reputation here lately. But of course, to get enough resveratrol to really get tremendous health benefits, red wine is not a good option. So resveratrol is another excellent supplement. Grapeseed extract I like a lot. Grapeseed extract helps healing if there happens to be an injury like a concussion, something like that, but it helps with nerve repair. It also helps to increase the most potent antioxidant in the body called glutathione. Grapeseed extract increases glutathione in the brain. That's a good thing. The hormone pregnenolone. Pregnenolone helps with feel-good neurotransmitters. It has a real positive effect on memory. Pregnenolone is the precursor hormone of which all the other hormones are derived. So pregnenolone can be very, very helpful. The B vitamins helps with nerve functioning. L-carnosine. L-carnosine helps with nerve repair, but it also helps with repairing the damage that has taken place with long-term stress. And usually that damage will be in the brain, but it also can be in the kidneys. Stress hormones have created that damage over time. L-carnosine can help reverse that damage. Very, very important. Acetyl L-carnitine helps with nerve repair. It helps the body make energy, and it also helps the cells detox. So extremely important supplement. And lastly, I want to mention a few lifestyle things that can be helpful. One is movement, particularly slow movement with focus, like Tai Chi, Qigong, is very helpful to the brain, the nervous system. Learning is, learning is one of the best things that the brain thrives on. Learning actually helps lay down new neuronal pathways in the brain. That's called plasticity. So, I always say, gosh, to get excited about life is to get your brain excited, and what excites the brain is learning new things. So doing different things is also very important. Habitual routine living is the kiss of death for the brain. We don't want to do that. We want to do things differently, and by doing that, it increases our awareness, and we get out of that mundane routine living. Don't take the same route to work every day, for example. Just do things differently. Don't get into that unconscious way of living, of just doing the same things every day. Most people do the same things. They take the same routes wherever they're going. They eat the same foods. Actually, it's 10 foods. People eat the same day in and day out. They watch the same television shows. They're doing the same things in and out every day. Not a good thing. Mix it up. Do things differently. And lastly, do things that you love to do. That keeps the brain excited. It keeps the brain alive, keeps it thriving. Do things that you love to do. And I always say that if you can do work you love to do, that's fantastic. If you can't right now, then try to do things that you love to do while you're doing the work. And also, it's very helpful if people find themselves in a situation where they're not real passionate about what they are doing, get around people that are, because it is contagious. It'll rub off and you'll find yourself finding it easier to get into what your real passion is. So I hope you found that useful. Like us on Facebook, and we'll see you next time.